All right, we are back, everybody. This is the Midpoint Marvelous Facts. We got two guys we're going to spotlight for you. One that's in Avengers 675 this week, and a version of one that's in Old Man Hawkeye. So we're going to kick things off with Living Lightning. And he is now going by the name Lightning, according to Avengers 675. But before that, he's always gone by Living Lightning. And he is created by Dan Thomas, Roy Thomas, and Paul Ryan. Not the Speaker of the House, as far as I know. Somebody entirely different.
I think of that every time because he did that a Fantastic Four run too. So I always
yeah. He was created back in October 1990 and was found in Avengers West Coast Volume 2, number 63, as his first appearance. His real name is Miguel. He goes by Miguel. And his father, Carlos, was a member of the extremist group called the Legion of Living Lightning. In a misguided attempt by the Legion to gain control of the Hulk, Carlos ended up being killed. So that's Miguel's father. Hoping to salvage his father's name, Miguel broke into the Legion's headquarters to learn more about their work. And while exploring, unwittingly turned on one of the Legion's machines and was transformed into a being of living energy. So because of being a being of living energy, that's his true form now. The Living Lightning is just that. He's a sentient electrical plasma force with no mass. So he has to wear this special containment suit to basically maintain like a solid human form, from what I'm reading. And Miguel was invited to attend a meeting of the Great Lakes Avengers, also known as the GLA, because they wanted to recruit him to the team. However, he turned them down, explaining that he'd attended thinking the GLA referred to the Gay and Lesbian Alliance. So our suspicions when we get to 675, because we recorded 675 before this midpoint fact, ended up, yes, being true. He was Netflix and chilling, or trying to, with one of the cops that he works with in that book, at least in the beginning.
Yeah. Dan Slott made him gay.
So yeah, that's all new information to me because I had no idea who that character was. As soon as like he kicks off that book, I'm like, oh, this is a strange way to start the book off. But
I have all the West Coast Avengers stuff.
Yeah,
that I've been dying to read, but I haven't read it yet.
Yeah, so that's where you'll find him.
I know that's where he comes from.
Yeah. But yeah, then the move on to Jamie Madrox, and he a version of him pops up in Old Man Logan, because in regular continuity he apparently is dead. Oh yeah, Old Man Hawkeye. Old Man, I keep doing that. He was created by Len Wein, Chris Claremont, and John Buscema. So some big names attached to him. And his first appearance was actually in a Fantastic Four comic, Giant Size Fantastic Four, February 1975. Final real appearance in regular continuity, December 2016 in Death of X. R.I.P. Jamie Madrox, at least currently. But his mutant ability was apparent as early as birth. This is funny. He first created his first duplicate when the doctor smacked him on the bottom.
That is funny. That's fucking hilarious.
So yeah, well, we like to dig up some crazy facts here about our characters. I thought that was, up there in the top 5 of funny things we've dug up. Madrox is basically a channeling, which basically is changeling. Is it? Yeah, changeling. Genetic predecessors of mutants whose powers manifest at birth instead of puberty. Plural form of Madrox has been referred to in the comics as both Madri and Madroxes. And he died on Muir Island, so studying the effects of the Terrigen cloud in a pretty uneventful way when Cyclops just arrived to the island just to find a whole bunch of his dupes just laying all over the place. That's how that
was a bummer.
The news was broke to the readers, which was, kind of a shame for kind of a fan favorite of the X teams for a long time.
You know what? Cyclops died the same lame way, just by
yeah.
arriving to the island and dying.
They just didn't tell us for 5 more issues, basically. So yeah, but he went out the same way. So yeah, your favorite X-Men probably died of Terrigen Cloud if he didn't die.
Hopefully not.
Yeah, on panel that you know of. So anyway, you got anything to add for him? Because I know you're a little bigger fan of Madrox than I am.
Yeah, I'm a huge Jamie Madrox fan. I got some recommended reading. It's a 5-issue mini series called Madrox, and it's fucking awesome. It just shows you how much of an interesting character he is, like the crazy shit that he does, like sending a duplicate off to the Shaolin Temple for 5 years, sending one to get a law degree, sending one to become a SHIELD agent, and then anytime he absorbs them, he gains all the knowledge. So, you know, he could become a Shaolin fucking kung fu master. He could do all these crazy things without ever having to leave his fucking living room. And funny thing is, I'm actually currently reading Peter David's X Factor run. So that's where they start dealing with all the changeling stuff with this guy called Trip, who the guy who killed his parents when he was little. But like when he creates a dupe, the kind of like the way he feels, like say like he has a moment where he's like a little scared and someone hits him and he creates a dupe. That dupe like has like a good chance of being like a coward and being scared of everything. Or if he's like in a rambunctious kind of like mood where he's like going after women and stuff, he'll have like a pussy hound dupe. Like it's hilarious when he creates multiple dupes and they all start arguing with each other. I highly recommend reading Peter David's Madrox and then X Factor, because it mainly focuses on Jamie Madrox, and it's just fucking hilarious, and it just shows like how many layers that character has and how great he is and how much of a fucking shame it was what they did in Death of X-Men.
Yeah. So a lot of stuff they don't get to do with like character work nowadays because the books just don't run like they used to. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. It's a bummer, right? Because X Factor had like 100 and some odd issues, so they got to like really explore him in that series and do like tons of stuff. And now books go like 15, 20 issues done, new team, new lineup, new writer. It's like, come on.
Yeah. And they usually just a lot of times deal with the outside threat. They're not dealing with anything going on with the actual characters, you know, other than the just relationship that eventually is going to end anyway, and you're just waiting for it, you know?
There's no deep character development anymore.
Yeah, and not really. There's kind of some shallow stuff that happens real quick and then they move on. But
that's it.
Yeah, we're going to move on, speaking of, to the books. Up next is Avengers 675, which I'm going to place in here right now. And then we are back. We are back with Old Man Hawkeye, #1. And Trevitt's going to take it away and then let us know the rundown of this book, and we'll tell you our thoughts here. Hopefully, we're going to break our string of borrows.
Yes.
So let's see.
I think so. I have a sneaky suspicion. Anyway, Old Man Hawkeye, #1 of 12, written by Ethan Sachs, newcomer. Art and cover by Marco Cicchetto, with color by Andreas Mosa, and letters by Virtual Calligraphy's Joe Caramanga. We got a solicit for this one, or hooray. Eye for an Eye, Part 1. The superheroes have fallen. The country has been divided into territories controlled by supervillains. Among the wasteland lives Clint Barton, one of the few Avengers to survive. But it's been 45 years, and he's no Avenger. Trying to eke out a living any way he can, the former Hawkeye is confronted with a startling discovery. This sharpshooter is going blind. With time running short, Clint realizes there's one last thing he wants to see: revenge for his fallen comrades in arms. Rising star Ethan Sachs and superstar Marco Cicchetto take you back to the wastelands in a story set 5 years before the original classic Old Man Logan. So here we go. I thought it was cool. Like 5 years before Old Man Logan, I totally forgot that little piece of information before I started reading it. So
yeah, I picked up on it because I didn't read the solicit, and it does it make it blatantly obvious? No, it just kind of gives you a location in the book. So I didn't make that connection until like they really started addressing that he was losing his sight that I'm like, oh yeah, this takes place probably a bit of
Before.
time well before. Because yeah, isn't he driving? Oh no, he's not the driver when they start going across country in Old Man Logan, is he?
No, Logan
Yeah,
drives. Logan drives, but he does drive in that story.
at points. Yeah. So like, and he's like so competent as a character being blind in that story, like you almost forget he's blind and shit like that, you know? So
because he could still shoot people with the arrow and shit.
Yeah,
which is kind of crazy. I love that. I love this world. I love that story. It almost makes me wish they kept Old Man Logan in that world. In his book.
And I'm being one of those assholes that I kind of hate, where like I'm not buying the individual issues just because I know it's a limited life shelf series, and I'm just gonna wait for it all to come out together so I can just add it to my shelf. But yeah, like I have interest going in of just straight out buying the trade before even I've read an issue.
Yeah, I just have a feeling it's going to be really good. I mean, the sad thing is like it is 5 years before. They could do a lot of stories within those 5 years, but we all know how Hawkeye's story ends if you read the original Old Man Logan. So there's nothing after that 5 years. But so we start off this issue with Hawkeye transporting Justin Hammer's supply of mutant growth hormone to an undisclosed location. They're making their way through a ravine, trying to avoid what is called Bandit County, when all of a sudden a sniper shoots out a tire. So Hawkeye opens up the trunk to look for a tire jack and is approached by the Madrox gang, which, which is perfect because 2 segments ago we talked about who Madrox is. So it's like
about 20 minutes ago, but yes.
all about 20 minutes ago. And it's not Madrox himself, it's like a gang of his dupes. And I like how they're all wearing different colored bandanas so they can tell each other apart, so and they never get into that, but you could just figure it just from seeing it. So they want the MGH and they're heavily armed and they're definitely not fucking around. Hawkeye calls out to Jamie. He's like, this is no way to treat an old friend. And that's when we learn, when they respond, that none of these are the original, that they're just the dupes. So Clint moves slowly, trying to bide some time to look for his bow and arrow. So, he can't see that well. His cataracts are acting up and it's a little dark in there. So he's searching around and he finds the bow and he starts putting arrows in the dupes. There are 9 of them. And he's just he hasn't lost the touch because he's nailing them in the head, in the eye, in the mouth, in the cheek, just killing them with the quickness. But it's just crazy. I love that page with the 9 panels, and you could just see each different one get hit with the arrow. That guy who got hit right in the mouth was kind of fucked up. So he kills him with the quickness, but one gets hit in the shoulder and runs off. So he got 8 out of 9. It's not bad.
And the last panel is him all disappointed in himself for missing that. Well, not even missing it, but like getting the dude through the shoulder/pit.
Yeah, because he's like, shit. Because he's like, oh, no, you don't. And he go to grab an arrow, and he can't grab that. He doesn't have any more arrows, and he's just like, shit, motherfucker. Like, I should have nailed that son of a bitch in the head. I love the aerial view on the page after. He's like, I missed. And you see all the dead bodies with the blood on the ground. And he's just, one of the Madroxes is running off.
Yeah, and he's got no arrows.
Blue bandana.
Yeah.
So because the lead guy,
he's so
double barrel shotgun.
He almost gets capped in the head by the last one left.
Yeah. Well, he just ducks out of the way, and it hits that container. So now Clint's at the Claire Temple Clinic in Electroville, which would be the part of the country that Electro got when the bad guys divvied up America. So he's concerned because, he missed. He never misses. He's pissed. So he's got to see what's going on, I mean, he kind of knows, but he doesn't know how bad it's going and how quick it's happening. So she tells him that his eyes are worse than the last time and that the glaucoma is just going to spread faster and faster. But that's nothing he didn't really know per se. He just didn't know how fast it was going to happen. So he asks how much mileage his eyes have left. And Claire tells him that he's got months, maybe weeks before he goes blind completely or legally blind to the point where it's just a blur. So there's, she tells him if there's something he wants to do, he better fucking get to it. before his time runs out, and he's blind, and he's staring at a picture of Luke Cage and Claire Temple while he's talking to her. I noticed because he wants to get revenge for his friends, like all the Avengers. Didn't we see in the original Old Man Logan? Didn't we get to see Luke Cage and Jessica Jones's daughter? I feel like we did, but I am having a memory blank.
There's Spider-Man, like the daughter that comes up later in this, but
yeah, his daughter.
Isn't that Spider-Man's daughter? And
well, Hawkeye has a.
I always forget the relationship there. I gotta like sit down and like my brain has to, the wheels got to start spinning, and I'm like, oh yeah.
So, Spider-Man had his daughter, which obviously wasn't Mary Jane because she's mulatto, and then Hawkeye married Spider-Man's daughter and has a daughter with her, which is kind of creepy. But
real creepy.
But it's Clint. It fits. He's a weird, creepy guy. I used to be a carny, so carnies are some creepy fucking people. All right. So after the disappointing news and the push to do what he wants to do, the revenge he needs to get, he heads over to Logan's homestead. He brought a gift for Logan's son, an Xbox with a long-lasting battery, which is pretty fucking cool. I wish they had those now, but in PlayStation form, so you can just take it wherever you want and not have to plug it in. But that's just an excuse. And Logan knows it, and he asks, what he wants, why he's there. But he already really knows. He knows that too. Logan knows that Clint wants revenge, or how Clint puts it, justice. And he wants Logan's help. But Logan's Wolverine's days are long over and behind him. And all he's concerned with now is looking after his family and making sure the Hulk gang doesn't fucking rape their dead bodies. So he turns Clint down and sends him away. That's it. And he leaves. He's pissed, but he tells him, your son keep the Xbox, because there's kind of like a smooth over gift. Like, yeah, I'm here to bring your son a gift, but really I got ulterior motives. But you know what? Yeah. Since you're being a dick, I'll still let you keep it. And Clint has a badass fucking classic car too. I forgot to mention that. So Clint heads over to Hammer Falls, to his ex-wife's place, Tanya Parker, Spider-Man's daughter. He came over to drop off some alimony. Not as much as he had planned because of the Madrox gang incident. He's really here to see his daughter, Ashley, who, if you read Old Man Logan, it doesn't work out for Ashley. Tanya tells him to make it quick. And he walks in a room and he sees a poster of himself, like in the Hawkeye costume. And he has like a little happy moment, like, my daughter's got a poster of me. That's awesome. But then he sees she's been using it to throw darts at. So that's so great. She doesn't like him. She fucking hates him. They have a quick talk about her fighting. Clint finds out that she's a bully and an extortionist. She's been extorting the geeks to protect them from the big, like, Jackie kind of guys. But when she found out the kid was holding back money, she kicked the shit out of both of them. Which I'm guessing, since she's Spider-Man's granddaughter, that super strength, right, and all that carries down through the years. She really wants nothing to do with Hawkeye, and she sends him on his way. And it's kind of fucked up considering the circumstance, So he walks away from Tanya's place and leans against his car, and he has a flashback moment of when all the bad shit happened that led to this world being the way it is. And he's holding Black Widow's dead body, and he clenches his fist, just really wanting to fuck these motherfuckers up. And then we cut to the Madrox that got away. We're at Tannenbaum Gorge, but it's later on, obviously. It's 10 miles away from where they were when the incident happened, and all of his fellow duplicates are dead, but this guy survives. He's roaming through the desert, dying of thirst, thirsty as a motherfucker. He comes into like a little cave, and he sees a puddle. So he drops to his knees, he cups his hands, he gets ready to take a nice drink of water, but then when he looks at it, he notices it's black, and water's not fucking black. And then it speaks to him and tells him to drink it all in, and it's fucking venom. And it just starts bonding with him and says now they can both have their revenge. And it's just disgusting. Like, when it starts bonding them and it comes out, it's all like ripped. It looks like ripped apart flesh. Yeah. It's fucking disgusting. It really is. Teeth everywhere. So this is quite dangerous.
It took me a minute to figure out what was going on.
Yeah.
I didn't know it was Venom off the bat.
Oh yeah, I knew. Like, well, and this is interesting, right? Because what was it in Old Man Logan? There was a Tyrannosaurus Rex that bonded with the symbiote.
Yeah,
So I'm
yeah,
assuming that this is going to lead to that. So in some shape, way, or form. So now we're going to have a dupe, a Venom dupe, which I forget how it works. Like I know Madrox, if he gets any kind of hit, he takes any kind of hit, a slap to the face, anything, bounces up against the wall, falls down and bangs his shoulder against the doorway, a dupe pops out. But I don't know if the dupes can make dupes. I forget. I don't think so.
yeah.
I don't think
You would know better than I would. I think Madrox is cool. I'm just not real, up to date on
yeah,
his history and stuff.
I don't think so. Because any story I look back and that I've read, and I've read like almost like 60 issues so far, I've never seen him. I've never seen a dupe make a dupe, so I don't think that can happen. But it would be cool if it could. Anyway, there's probably more out there. So then we're still at Tannenbaum Gorge, just with different people. It's later on from what we just saw. A sheriff and his deputy is standing over the dead Madrox dupes, or the Madroxes, and 8 graves. The deputy asks the sheriff what he thinks happened, and the sheriff comes up with a simple explanation. Looks like 2 gangs of bandits had it out, and it didn't go well for this group. And then all of a sudden the man, like shrouded in shadow, tells the sheriff he's wrong and he's not looking closely enough. So this man examines the scene and then says that the guy who killed these Madroxes took out 8 armed Madroxes with 8 arrows and stuck around to dig each one of them a grave in this terrible heat. Like, who the fuck does that? Who would kill these people and then, even though they're pieces of shit, still stop to dig some graves? And the sheriff
Right.
presses, yeah, like, who? Nobody does that, especially in this fucking backwards ass society where everybody's out for themselves and the villains rule the world. So the sheriff presses this mysterious guy, like, who the fuck are you? Tell me now, I'm gonna shoot you. So he steps out of the shadows, and then the cop just looks like, the sheriff and the deputy just look fucking frightened, and they call him Marshall, and it's Bullseye. So I guess Bullseye in this reality and dystopian future is a marshal, is a U.S. marshal or whatever the country is called. So he tells the sheriff that this was the work of something that they haven't seen around these parts in a very long time, a superhero. So, which is pretty cool. You're going to have Bullseye hunting Hawkeye, which is kind of cool. 2 guys who are really good at shooting shit and hitting their targets, going one-on-one against each other. So, and he's got like a cybernetic eye. It looks like a Deathlock eye, and a crazy
I thought
mustache.
it was Cable off the bat.
Did you?
Yeah.
I knew because of the target. When I saw the target symbol on his head, I knew who it was.
The target was the giveaway when he was just, the eye was shining and he was all black.
Yeah. I had no clue at that point. That's a good guess, though. I didn't even think Cable because of the red eye. Because how many people have those glowing eyes? But this is normally
I know.
blue. But so I was really excited for this book, and it definitely did not disappoint me. The character work was great. It's really felt like the Hawkeye I remember from the original Old Man Logan series, and you could tell that Evan Sachs did his homework. The art by Marco Cicchetto and Andreas Mosa was gorgeous. The world was beautifully detailed and textured. It was the dirty dystopian future I remember. And Cicchetto is definitely a perfect successor to Steve McNiven, who did the original work on Old Man Logan. Cicchetto's pencil work was equally as clean and as sharp as McNiven's was. So I love this book, and I can't wait for it. The second issue next month. It's definitely a buy for me.
Yeah, I'm the same way. I'm gonna break our borrow streak this week and go unanimously with buy, because I mean, I really like the art. Like, it's in kind of the style and look of the Old Man Logan trade and book and feel. Like, I don't know, I just like adding lore to this universe and this time, because we don't get to see it much other than like dream sequences that are extended now, or memories since he's left, so there can never be like that true sequel. But yeah, I mean, this is a buy all the way for me. I'm interested in the story. Like, it feels real personal, but it's also like a similar adventure that Logan initially took at the start, and that you know that was a blast. So
Yeah.
I'm interested to see who else he comes across. I always love when somebody new pops out and you're like, oh, that's what they're up to. That's pretty cool. And where this Venom stuff all leaves with Madrox now combined. So I'm all in. I'm excited that it lived up to the hype in my brain, which can be hard sometimes. So I'm for
It
buy.
really can be.
Yeah, I know.
You have like
it really
preconceived.
it's like I try to temper myself for everything. Like I'm just like, oh man, I'm excited for this, and if it sucks, I'm just gonna be. It's like the Bills losing a game. I'm let down. So
I think Chichetto is a great choice for art, and like I don't think that guy gets enough love because they had him on. Last thing they had him on was Captain Phasma, and then they had him on the Gamora series when they were doing the Guardian Grounded thing, and he does like his art is consistently gorgeous like that, and he's always on time. Like he's one of those artists where if you had him on a book with a writer and it was going to go 50 issues, he would do every issue without taking a break. Like he's one of those like consistently good artists who always turns in his work on time. So I think Marvel needs to start taking better notice of him after this.
Yeah, so we are wrapping up books here. We're going to do a quick sign out segment. I just popped one in my head. As far as, just general book of the week goes, I'm going to give one to Marvel, one to DC, I guess. I'll roll that way because that's all I've read. I didn't get any indie titles under my belt this week. So one for each. My Marvel would obviously, I'm going to roll with Old Man Hawkeye. I dug that. That was a blast. So definitely buy that if you're looking for something. And for DC, I still really much enjoy Red Hood and the Outlaws, and that as far as that ongoing goes, I think this was number 18, but they're still dealing with Bizarro being too smart for his own good, and now Bizarro's going crazy with like this pup character that's his stuffed animal coming to life. So yeah, it was a fun issue. So those are my two. If you got any suggestions you want to holler out real quick.
Yeah, I guess for Marvel, it would, you know what? I'm going to go with Old Man Hawkeye. There's Clean Out of Runaways, but those are the two best that came out. Old Man Logan was really good too, but those are
I'm losing you on the recording end of things. I don't know where you're.
Sorry,
you're vanishing out on me. But we're gonna.
Old Man Hawkeye was my Marvel, and for DC, it was you know what? It was the Flash, and I'll tell you why. Because I've hated the Flash throughout Rebirth for so long. It's just like it got decent, then it got shitty, then it got shitty, then it got shitty, then it got decent, then it got shitty. But it's been really good. And then they had like Howard Porter do one issue, then Scott McDaniel, and now Scott Collins, who did a long run with Jeff Johns on the Flash, did this past issue, and it was a really good issue. It had really great art. I really, really enjoyed it. And then my indie book of the week is going to be Bloodshot Salvation because I loved it, and I love Bloodshot. Jeff Lemire is killing it on that title.
Nice. All right. So yeah, there's some suggestions for you guys if you're looking for maybe something other than Marvel. And even one book we did talk about, filled you in a little bit on. So check that out if you were iffy about it. But again, you guys know how to reach us at MadnessMarvel1 on Twitter, and at Gmail. Account is marvelmadness0@gmail.com. Next week, we're going to wrap up one of these mini events. That's going to be Venom Inc. Omega #1. So see what comes out of all that. X-Book, obviously, we're going to continue bringing you the developments of Phoenix Resurrection. So that's number 4. What do we got? Jean Grey, or is that 5 issues and then Jean Grey, right?
Yeah, 5 issues and then Jean Grey.
So this is the 3rd last issue of Phoenix Res. Hero book, you want to do Spirits of Vengeance?
What number is it?
4.
4? Yeah, let's do Spirits of Vengeance. I wanted to do Doctor Strange too because it was having Loki and Strange are going to have that all-out war with each other right now after Doctor Strange has powered himself up. But we've been covering Spirits of Vengeance, so I think that's a good idea.
Yeah, so we'll keep you updated on that. It's a pod favorite. after a borrow-filled week, maybe we get at least 2 buys for you next week. And then we're going to do just a quick event update. We're not going to give you full in-depth coverage of it, but a quick event update on the next issue of this Avengers book. And I think we'll do that as long as it's running, not like cover every issue unless it's one that completely goddamn wows us, but give you a quick bullet point rundown of any development, and then where that's all leading to, because I want to see Hulk come back and all that. So
I saw the issue number for when he comes back. It was like 680 something. I can't wait for that to happen.
Yeah.
It's going to be an
that's what I want to get to, and the rest is just bullet points until that happens. So we're going to wrap things up this week, guys. It was a pleasure bringing you Marvel Madness 36. We'll be back next week with 37. Until that time, peace out and later.
Peace.